Okay. I'm going to take a few moments to discuss the Stephen Spoonamore reports and the quick debunking of every single person about them. Okay? The reason why is Christopher Columbus was actually wrong about almost everything he understood. All of his math was wrong. Okay? The size of the earth, as he predicted, was wrong. The distance to India and where they were going was wrong. But he was right that the earth was round. And we need to take that in context with Stephen's information. Because Stephen explained how it could be done. And the thing is the numbers are still panning out, that the votes are elevated. The bullet ballot votes in those states are elevated. They might not be as high as he was originally claiming, but the margins are getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. So there is, here's the thing. Why have a recount? Why just not believe that this election is free and fair and it was as good as every other election? And we don't even need to look under the hood. Okay, why? That's a good question. Because Trump's lists his apartment as 33,000 square feet when it's really only 11. Because Trump lies and cheats and steals at everything. Because the last election, Trump tried 5 different ways to steal it. Fake electors' slates, calling states and demanding recounts, and summoning a mob, okay, pressuring Mike Pence. There's a whole list of ways that Trump tried to steal the last election. He ran literally the worst campaign ever, with fewer campaign stops than either 2020 or 2016. He had fewer offices, fewer staff, spent less money, raised less money, and won in a landslide with fewer votes than he had in 2020. And the only answer we have is the entire women vote, all the never-Trumpers, all the anti-Trumpers, all the the women against, reproductive control. We all just stayed home. All the hundreds of thousands of new registered voters all just stayed home. And then the problem is we turn to each other. Did you stay home? Did you stay home? Did you stay home? Did you stay home? No, we none of us stayed home. Wait, who stayed home? And somehow, Trump's base grew while his rallies were getting smaller and smaller, and Kamala's were building and building bigger and bigger. I mean, I know that people don't really remember just a few weeks ago what was happening, that so many people were getting turned off by Trump and turning to Kamala. But that's okay. So why call for an election recount? Trump cheats at everything. His campaign was crap. His messaging was even worse. He was losing steam. Kamala was gaining steam. And we know that he has copies of software that match. Multiple security experts are all saying the same thing. They had the software for 3.5 years. They had Elon's ability to connect remotely, whether it was during the times of elections or not, or if there had been hardware or any of that that's been happening. Has anyone looked? Because basically it's just I'll take their word for it. Everything was offline. Everything was kosher. And Trump wins in this mysterious landslide that no one was expecting. Okay, we knew it was going to be close, but, well, I mean, landslide in that it was all decided the first day. And nobody even wants to look under the hood. Like, we don't even want to check. You know, it's kind of like if you were expecting $2,500 for your weekly pay and you get to your bank and there's only $1,500 in there, wouldn't you like call up your employer and be like, hey, what happened? I have not anywhere seen mass numbers of Democrats saying they stayed home. I am seeing mass numbers of voters claiming they didn't get their votes counted. We know, okay, reasons for a recount, mass numbers of people saying their vote wasn't counted. Mass numbers of voters being thrown off the rolls without knowing they've been thrown off the rolls by having trained Republican agents in counties all over the swing states throwing thousands and hundreds of thousands of people off the voter rolls. Challenging them in court and getting them thrown off. We had over 60 or dozens. I've seen a report that said dozens. I've seen a report that said over 60 bomb threats on the day of the election that caused disruption in Democratic specific areas. One of the tells was that all of Trump's wins had elevated bullet ballots, and maybe not as high as Stephen originally said, and they all won by a margin that then did not require a recount. That's mysterious. That's almost never happened. So there's just a lot of irregularities. There's a lot of things we know. And I feel at this point, Democrats are being the old lady who opens the door to the nice man and she buys his story that he's going to take all of her furniture and refurnish it and bring it back, and all her gold and silver and clean it and bring it back, and empties out her house, and she gives him milk and cookies because he's all worn out from carrying all of her furniture and all of her things out of her house. And he leaves, and it's not until she tries to walk in the living room and there's nowhere to sit down that she realized she's been robbed. And he's never coming back. Okay? We need to at least check. There is no harm in checking. All it's going to do is prove that the election is correct and is true and is right. And there's no loss just to double check before we hand over our country to this liar and cheater who we know lies and cheats at everything. And the fact that we aren't looking for any, to me, is more suspicious than anything. All right, spread the word. 100,000 people, please sign up. UnitedWeStand.vote. Go add your name to the ballot. If we can get 100,000 people to start demanding recounts and taking it seriously that we need to double check these election results before we just certify this election. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, subscribe, and follow me on Facebook. The Facebook group is very active, and everywhere else that there are links. Love and hugs and kisses to everybody. All right, let's see you next video.